What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Now, I want to address a couple of things this morning because tonight we get Usyk versus Dubois, and I want to get some things off my chest before this video, before that fight happens, so this video can be out beforehand. Now, someone made a comment and said, "Oh, somebody's gotten really quiet about Alicia Baumgartner." Now, this was an indirect, little sissy weak shot at me. Let me respond to that by saying this. I put out at least 4 or 5 videos about that situation, about that topic. I said all I needed to say. And there's nothing else to say about it because there's no more information. So, pretty much, there's no need to sit and reach and make a bunch of what if scenarios because the truth is the truth, whether it gets revealed or not, or whether it does get revealed. Whatever the verdict will be, hey, listen, that's all I'm waiting for. For me to say anything else about that situation as of right now, what am I going to say now that I didn't say already that really means anything? I said what needed to be said. And in fact, I put a video out and it's telling you, okay, you hear scientists talking, you hear doctors talking, and you hear them explaining to you that there are many athletes that actually, people in general, okay, that actually fail a drug test and they haven't taken anything just from simply drinking too much water at the wrong time. And they explain everything, just your drinking water, okay? I'm not going to get into the whole thing. If you want to see and hear what was said, watch the video, okay? Like I said, I put videos up that are informative. I put things up that the boring stuff is what people don't want to watch. It's considered boring, but it's actually things that make sense, and ties into what's being said because everybody wants the drama. They don't want the truth. Like you said, I said all I needed to say. Now, in terms of people being quiet, what's so funny is this. When I hear and read comments of people saying things like, can't say it to me because I'm not showing favoritism to anyone. So I don't know where these little goofy comments come from. But people said when it came to Alicia Baumgartner, they were telling people, oh, had that same energy with Alicia that y'all had with Hannah Gabriel. And see, these are the people who only see one side of things. Why? Because they're going by the people that immediately said, yeah, she's guilty, right? Hannah Gabriel's didn't believe the dog cream story. Yeah. Do you guys realize that Hannah Gabriel's has a ton of people that saying she's innocent because they're attracted to her? Not because of any proof that she's had, not because of not anything that she's proved, not anything about Vada saying we made a mistake or anything, nothing. Just because of her looks. And they're clearly saying in the comment sections how, oh my God, she's just so beautiful. Oh, she may be the most beautiful woman ever. I've never seen someone so gorgeous. I believe you're innocent. I don't think you did it based on that. So someone could be just as idiotic and say, have that same energy with Felicia Baumgartner because they're attracted to her. So all of this nonsense is like, that is beneath me, man. I'm not into that. Okay, like I said, I'm not into the drama and trying to win arguments. I speak what I feel based on what I see, and information that's out there that can explain a lot of things that make people to bring awareness and have people to stop being so damn judgmental and quick to take up for a person because you like the person or bury the person because you don't like the person. But fools will be fools. So speaking of quiet, now Robert Helenius, okay, has tested positive. Now, keep that same energy with Robert Helenius because he's the guy, oh, we like his attitude. He's a nice guy. Yo, he's a really good guy. You could tell, blah, blah, blah. Does that mean he won't cheat? And you know what? I'm going to keep the same energy with Robert Helenius as I did with Baumgartner, as I did with Gabriel's, as I did with Connor, and anybody else. As I said, when they start to talk and they start changing their stories and the things they say don't add up, it comes to a point where, okay, how I feel based on what you're saying, whether what you're saying sounds feasible or not, I have no problem saying what I have to say. I haven't heard anything from Robert Helenius, and I haven't heard anything from any testing VADA, or whoever was testing. I haven't heard anything from them to say what happened. All I heard was that he failed his test. And this guy, Gareth Davies, was on point with a lot of the things he was saying, but I'm going to say this too, okay? Because I read about it, then I heard him speaking about it. He said the same thing I said, in the sense of some of the same things I said. And the one particular thing, if you know a fighter tests positive, pull that fighter out. You don't even have to cancel the event, because it's not right for all these other fighters that put in work, that's not going to get paid, that put their blood, sweat, and tears into this training camp the same way. No, pull that fighter, okay? It's dangerous for the fighter who's going into the main event, that basically, or whatever spot you have on the card, because you get a last minute replacement. That person may be prepared, which you would hope they are, so you can give the people their money's worth and you can go in there and have a proper scrap. But you might be in danger of losing because this person can be completely different from what you trained for. But at the same time, you guys look, that guy may have been studying you. You may not have been studying this guy. I mean, things can happen. But bottom line is, that fighter, the dirty one, should not be allowed to fight. Okay, you should not be allowed to fight. So the way I see it, and they talk about how expensive testing is. Well, here's my thing. If you know a month ahead of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, 3 days, you know what? You're going to have to do this again the morning of, or the day before, or whatever it may be. And if you fail that one, then you can't fight. Simple. And it needs to not be the day of, because you need to get a replacement. It's as simple as that. And if you're not going to get a replacement, it's like, well, if he failed, then the event is off, right? So you don't want to wait till the day of for that. But what I'm saying is, they need to be more on top of things. Fuck the cost. You guys are rich. You guys are multimillionaires. Okay, these companies are rich. Stop with this nonsense. Because if somebody does go in there and get killed, all this putting RIP, putting little video montages together of this person's career is not going to bring them back. It's not going to do shit for their families. Okay, at the end of the day, we have a fight tonight that I would rather look forward to that and pay more attention to that, instead of focusing on this negative shit. I just told you guys, Alicia Baumgartner wasn't the first, and she's not going to be the last to fail a drug test. Just like that, we get the news about Robert Helenius. And once again, it's weeks after the fight that they had. It's the same thing. So they know about this ahead of time. But they hide it, and then they come out with it. So this means, the same time, just say that Eddie Hearn was having conversations and people are bringing up Alicia Baumgartner, then he knew that Robert Helenius popped dirty at some point. You understand what I mean? And it's like, well, now they're coming out about, making it known what happened. But listen, I've been saying this. And that's why I said the videos I've done, I did to bring awareness. There are possibilities that a person did not cheat. Okay? If you took the time to watch videos and see things, you realize, like, yeah, you know what? It could be this or that. We don't know. But at the end of the day, the tough thing is trying to prove that you're clean. Because what do you have to go by other than just your word? Unless there's something that happened that you can prove, someone trying to set you up or something to that, whatever that is beyond what we can imagine at the time that's going on, because we don't know the details. But when a fighter says, I can prove it, like Alicia Baumgartner says she's going to prove her innocence, and how she's going to do that, I don't know. And I'm not making videos to say, what is she going to actually say? Well, what if it's that? No. I'll wait until she says until we get a verdict. That's when I'll speak about that again if I choose to. But until then, there's nothing else to say. I said everything I need to say. As I said, if you really want to understand how easy it is for someone to fail a drug test, watch the fucking video I put up. As I said, they have people that know far more about it than I do and than you do. All of you that make your mind up that someone's guilty. But it's so funny because I hear no one speaking about this Robert Helenius situation. And so what? It doesn't make a difference if someone has a title or not. Okay? Something inappropriate and immoral, it goes for everybody. That hunk of metal I got fucking belts hanging over there. Okay? That don't mean I can go out here and do some dirty shit and, oh yeah, man. But Aries got belts. Dude won belts. He was winning titles. He's a champion. Yeah. And so what? Listen. I wish that the reality was that there was a lot more positive things going on. Positive vibes only is what we need to deal with. There's just too many people that don't understand that. They like the drama. And I want to say this. Maybe this is the last thing I'm going to address in this video. You see the turncoat shit that's going on in boxing. And I want to say this and make it clear. You see what I don't respect about a guy like Frank Warren? Frank Warren is a boxing promoter, not an MMA promoter. Okay? MMA guys don't back up boxers when they fight against MMA guys. The only way you're going to see that is if that boxer is like their relative. Okay? Or if they just don't like that MMA guy. Like they personally don't like him, they can't stand him, they want to see him lose. Aside from that, they're always going to back up their MMA guys. Dana White, you think Dana White, look, he was there trying to give Conor McGregor a moral victory for not getting knocked out. Okay, and by a guy that was 25 pounds smaller than him. But, oh yeah, the greatest fighter of all time in Conor McGregor, bottom line, he wasn't knocked out. The ref stopped it, but I'm so proud of this guy. Yeah. There you got guys like Shane Mosley and other fighters who, I would train Conor. And you guys are so ignorant, you don't even realize. Conor McGregor had such little respect for boxers that he didn't even want a boxer to train him. He didn't want a boxing trainer to train him. He went with his striking coaches from MMA. He thought that would be enough. And then you got clueless people like Skip Bayless sitting there talking about how Floyd's going to have punches coming at him that he's not used to, he's never seen before, and Conor's going to do this and this. And what happened? Every excuse in the book when he lost. And again, with that sorry-ass second place moral victory nonsense. And here, Frank Warren, if you listen to this guy, he's sitting here trying to profess to the world that Francis Ngannou versus Fury is the biggest fight out there. And it's far bigger than Usyk versus Fury, because nobody knows Usyk and basically everybody knows Usyk can't beat Fury. So basically you're shitting on any event that's not a part of your fighter's cards, right? Your card. And even though your fighter Daniel Dubois is going there against Usyk, what you're telling the world is, hell, man, Usyk's overrated. You understand what I'm saying? Nah, people not making a big deal out of Usyk versus Dubois because Usyk is doing overrated. Dubois is going to knock him spark out. Now, he said all of this shit, right? Now, let's say it happens. Would we then see Dubois versus Fury? Because basically, this guy is going around here talking about Ngannou. Nobody cares about no goddamn Ngannou versus Fury. I know I certainly don't. So instead of a guy, boxing in general as a whole, I get so sick of hearing this Matchroom versus PBC, and PBC versus the Zone, and the Zone versus this and that, and Sky Sports, ESPN versus the Zone. I get sick of hearing this shit, man. Like, this is all boxing, man. And instead of boxers, being proud to see solid boxing cards, being proud to see solid main events, being proud of, hey, boxing is doing it big. No, if I'm not promoting it, fuck it. That's the mentality. So here's a guy that's supposed to be a boxing promoter, and he's in here shitting on any other boxers that has nothing to do with him. That's doing anything to make some noise. It's always this half-ass. Like Frank Warren always has a chip on his shoulder and has an answer for everything and everybody. I don't give a shit about Francis Ngannou versus anybody. I don't care. I'm not interested in seeing him fight Fury. Fury is basically ducking. And you want to know something? They all getting older, but Usyk, see, my thing is this. Like I said, now, could this be the fight that Father Time catches up with him? We don't know. But let's say he goes in there and dominates and wins the way people think that he's going to win. You really think Tyson Fury is going to be eager to fight him? No. He'll use this whole, I'm training for Ngannou bullshit. It'll be an excuse. And it's like, to me, they're just waiting, letting the time tick by, letting it, they're all getting older, but Usyk's time, his clock is ticking faster, okay? Because he's older than they are. So at the end of the day, they don't sound too confident that they can beat Usyk to me. But at the same time, Mauricio Suleiman is in Tyson Fury's back pocket, and he pretty much sat here and called this man a victim and said no one wants to fight Fury. Fury's trying to make the fights happen, but these guys overpriced themselves. Mauricio Suleiman sat there with a straight face. And I don't know about you guys, but I had that cringe feeling in my stomach just listening to him talk, because I hate talking to a barefaced liar, and you know that feeling you get when you know someone's dishonest, but they have no shame to sit in front of a camera on top of that and give the world bullshit. And here you are, like I'm saying, as boxing personalities, man, there's no support for the game itself. Boxing has no damn structure, man. It has no loyalty, nothing. It's all about grab the cash and go. And there's no way that for me to see, okay, I'm a boxer, this guy's an MMA guy, and he wants strikers, his MMA striking coaches. That's who he's going with to go in here and fight Floyd. Nah, I wouldn't help this guy. He's shitting on boxing. He's talking about how he had 15 fights as a boxer, and he's not new to it, and he's gonna no problem, and all this shit he was saying. But they want to act like they don't realize what was happening. He handpicks a little washed up, bald-headed, pillow-fisted Paulie Malignaggi to try to make an example of with a little bullshit chopped up 15-second, 10-second video or whatever it was. And he's trying to make a mockery of boxers. Yet these idiots were talking about, I train him. Why? I would have said, nah, he don't need us. He has his striking coaches. Yeah, let his striking coaches teach him. Because that's what he was sitting there talking about the whole time. And y'all think it was just a Floyd versus Conor thing. No. He didn't respect boxing, period. Conor is all about the money. So that's why even when people talking this shit about Floyd, I'm like, y'all talking about Floyd, well, who was his dance partner? So how was Floyd wrong for what? For collecting $300 million? For a fucking fight that nobody's ever even came close to making $300 million in one night. How many people even made that their whole career? Not a whole lot. So at the end of the day, this disloyal shit, man. I mean, every time I turn around, Frank Warren is saying something about Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, anybody from Matchroom. I mean, he always has something to say. Yet, he talks about Daniel Dubois like Daniel Dubois is an undefeated fighter that has just been terrorizing nothing but top talent. You talk about how bad Anthony Joshua looked against Helenius. I mean, he got the knockout. He won. What just happened to Dubois in that last fight? And I like Dubois as a fighter, but I'm talking about the hypocrisy. A win is a win. And for people talking that shit about he looked bad, it's like, that goes to show you that they know when I call Helenius a journeyman, and the fact that Wilder knocked him out in one round, but they lied about how great he was going into it and all this shit, at the end of the fucking day, okay, Y'all know y'all was hyping up Helenius. And what did I say? He's still a journeyman. Yeah. Yeah. We know AJ with the safety first approach. We already know that. So why do we keep repeating the same shit over and over? It's a fight by fight basis. But this non-loyal motherfucker and Frank Warren, every time he opens his mouth, it's just nothing but negativity he has to say about everybody. But then you turn around and look, except for his little stable, but you turn around and look at what he has going on. It's just a hate, a jealousy thing. It's childish, it's ignorant. And pretty much, if Dubois loses, okay, the next person that Usyk fight won't be Fury. Okay, if Fury and Ngannou actually happens, okay, because is it a date set about that? I don't know. I don't even care. That's the thing. I don't even care about that shit. Okay, but if it's not Ngannou, it'll be some other MMA guy, maybe some Hollywood actor, somebody that doesn't belong in the boxing ring. And this is your WBC champion. Are you shitting me? So every time I hear people always questioning someone else and shooting little sideways comments, it's like, do you guys listen to yourselves? Do you listen to the shit that you applaud and accept? And you got the nerve to try to shit on someone else? And again, I don't see video after video after video after video popping up talking about Helenius is guilty. All right? You guys are trying to crucify Alicia Baumgartner. I never tried to crucify any of them. I listened to hear what was said. I listened to okay, this was the accusations. Now, what is the response? What is the defense? And like I said, when you come out your mouth and say nothing but a bunch of bullshit, then, okay, there's nothing to go by other than what you say. And if you look guilty, then, hey, I'll say that shit. I don't know Alicia Baumgartner personally. They know I rock with her no matter what, or I rock with this one. No. I don't know them. I don't know these people. But I'm saying in fairness, and I do this for everyone. You go back through my archives. I got receipts for everything I say. I've never just shitted on somebody. Oh, he's guilty because they said so. No, what happened? Let's hear. I've always been like that. Period. In life. Win, lose, or draw. I hope we get a good fight card. I hope Dubois versus Usyk is a good fight. And to be honest with you, people like Frank Warren, and it's a whole lot of other people. Boxing will be a lot better when they phase out and other people come in that has boxing's best interests in mind. It's always going to be business first, regardless. But they want a clean sport. They want the best competition. They want to see the best fight the best. Somebody realized finally we don't need all these sanctioning bodies and that boxing should be handled different. And yeah, of course, like I said, the people that's sitting here lining their pockets up off boxing that don't know shit about it, never fought nobody, sparred nobody, never threw a rock at a person, nothing. Okay, never hit anybody with a spitball, nothing. But they got so much to say and so much knowledge. No, they all about this money, and that's it. What I'm saying, if that was to ever happen, I probably wouldn't even be allowed to see it. Because I don't see this happening overnight. Boxing, something would have to happen. There would have to be a serious plunge, a serious decline where boxing is like, damn, something has to happen. And someone comes along that has, like ideas I'm talking about. Somebody can come along with something that, hey, I know what to do that can save boxing. It just won't have anything to do with these people that surround these organizations. It'll just be a new, home for boxing. That's what boxing needs, man. Because at the end of the day, we can sit here and come up with a bunch of ideas and say shit. Why do you think I say shit? Because you know what? You never know who's listening to your voice. You never know who's watching. And somebody can actually, you don't know, you might be the one to spark something that somebody may, and people, ideas travel and things start to actually happen for the better. Because at the end of the day, you can't tell me that people accept this misfits boxing, but you can't actually have an actual league of actual boxers that people want to see fight. And then and you make this to where these guys have to earn their keep. No more just fucking hiding behind people, sitting back, waiting for the right time to just, I'm not going to fight this guy, but I'm going to fight that guy. Easy money grabs. Now that it's, going back and forth to females, I'm hearing Sadeja Green, PFL, Amanda Serrano, PFL, Savannah Marshall, PFL. Hey, man, this is their lives, their career. But you see, as soon as boxing for females start to get on the roll, then you have the situation with Baumgartner with the testing. Then you have this whole thing with now all of a sudden everybody want to try to do what Holly Holmes did. Only Holly Holmes stayed with MMA. She didn't come back to boxing. So now for Claressa Shields, she does it, and now all of a sudden everybody is just like, what is this, man? Do they think that this is going to put more eyes on female boxing? I don't know, but what female boxing don't need is for its top stars to leave it. And I'm going to be real with you. And this goes to Claressa Shields. Hey, I salute. Hey, listen, good luck for whatever you do. Wish you nothing but the best. But I'll say this to you. It's going to be next to impossible for Shields to ever be as good at MMA as she is in boxing as long as she's doing both. Serrano, Marshall, any of them. The dedication that it takes for you to become a professional boxer. Look at how long it took you to get where you are now. Most established boxers only fight like twice a year. So imagine like you're trying to make this MMA and boxing thing work. For example, let's say if Claressa Shields quit boxing altogether. She only has 2 fights, and she's been doing it for how long now? If she wasn't boxing, Shields would probably have maybe 6 or 7 fights by now. You understand? At least. But she's doing both. So if you look at it, what's her primary job out of the 2? Boxing. She has the most responsibility in boxing. Marshall just became undisputed champion. So how in the fuck is she going to balance MMA and boxing on an elite level? So if you're doing it just to do it, just to make history, just to say, oh, I was also a 2-sport athlete. No, the goal is to become champ, right? You want to be the greatest in your division or greatest in the sport or whatever it may be. Trying to juggle the 2 is not realistic, man. It's not. Now, the most that people can say is, but it's the PFL, as if the PFL, no, it's not UFC. It's not as popular, but we're not talking about popularity. We're talking about the capability of fighters. If you think that the PFL is a cakewalk, you guys are tripping. There's women that will beat the fuck out of Claressa Shields right now in the PFL. Savannah Marshall and Amanda Serrano. Because they're just not good enough yet. But Claressa has a jump start on all of them. You understand what I mean? But the progression, nah. Now, the difference with MMA and boxing is there's people in MMA that wind up becoming champion. Like Brock Lesnar got it on his 3rd fight. Some people 5, 6 fights in, 7 fights, they're champion. Now, in female boxing, that can happen because it's just not deep. You don't have one division that just have like a handful of like really good female fighters. And this is why you see all this jumping up and down and weight stuff between them. So, yeah, it's easier to be a champion when you're in a division that basically a sport in general and female boxing where it's just not a lot of great female fighters. Let's be real. I mean, great. It's not even a lot of really good ones. So it's just one of these things where, okay, you're exceptional. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're great. You're great. That's it. Everybody else is, they're okay. They're simple. So now it's like, well, I can go to the PFL. That'll be my stomping grounds for now. Because if it's about money, I can tell you this, the PFL is not paying nearly as much as what the UFC is. They can't. But I can tell you what, jump your ass in that UFC too soon and the worst is going to happen. Okay? Because that is basically where the majority of the best MMA fighters are. Now, again, you have some fighters. I'm not at all saying there's no PFL fighters that can't beat any UFC fighters. No, no, no. Same with Bellator. They have some guys. Bellator is more known for recruiting older UFC fighters that's out of their contract. But at the end of the day, okay, as opposed to developing, stars and talent that come through Bellator straight from a training camp and whatever, and they become stars and grow and become champions and legends in the sport through Bellator. Usually it's somebody that's released from, the UFC. And no matter who they have, that's more known for being in Bellator. That person that comes from UFC by far is more popular, even if they're not as good or, whatever it may be. So bottom line is UFC is the big ticket in MMA, but there's no cakewalk there, and I commend these women for having the heart to go in there and do what they do because it's new to them. But as far as this becoming a thing where, I'm just as great in this sport as I am in boxing, nah. Especially when you start off with some of the worst fighters that they have, because you need to get built up. I mean, look, star power can get you knocked out. Y'all know the wrestler CM Punk. You see what happened when he went to MMA, right? He thought he could do a Brock Lesnar. He thought that he was going to go in there, star power alone. He had the crowd cheering. But what happens when he got in there? He got his ass whooped. He lost twice badly. Both times he got his ass whooped the same way. It's not as easy as people think. Believe it. And the point is the same thing. You're not going to be able to fight as many times in the octagon because you're boxing too. You're not going to be able to fight as many times in the ring because you're doing MMA as well. So where you could have had like 2 or 3 fights in 1 year, and it shows, because if you're going to fight 1 fight in MMA, right, and then 2 fights in boxing, if it happens in the same year, this is my point. The dedication is not the same, because when you're training for both, it's a different process. It's different. Like I said before, like Bo Jackson playing baseball and then come to football the second half of the season. So he was only playing 8 games. But, it's like you can't swing both at the same time, man. I mean, the training camps are different. It's more wear and tear on your body. People don't understand this. So as much as they would like to believe that they're going to dominate both sports, like it's easier if you're like a Muay Thai, like Stamp Fairtex, for example. She does Muay Thai, MMA. And so when she gets in there, it's like she's doing one, and she does kickboxing. But the Muay Thai and the kickboxing are extremely similar. The MMA changes with the grappling and, submission stuff. So you ask anyone that does both, right? They'll tell you it's difficult because now you're going into something completely different. Which one of the Klitschko brothers was it? Vlad or Vitaly? That was a kickboxer. Dylan White was a kickboxer. Big Pharmacy Miller was a kickboxer. But do you hear their names resonating with people through kickboxing? Nope. All their popularity came from what? Boxing. It's difficult to do both. Now look at Stamp Fairtex. Kickboxing and Muay Thai is what she excels in. She's really good in MMA, but she's better at escaping grapples than she is at submitting people. Her striking, feet, knees, elbows, hands, that's what she excels at. So out of the 3, she's not as good in MMA as she is in Muay Thai and kickboxing. It's difficult. And you got to understand, that's the difference. And when you have like this mixed martial arts, they have a fight where 1 round might be MMA, the second round might be Muay Thai, the third round straight kickboxing. So they're accustomed to doing that. But to do boxing and MMA at the same time, it's like, what's the purpose though? Like, what is the purpose? And you're entitled to do it. It's your right. But boxing is hurting because of that. That's for real. Boxing is hurting. Look at what this big fucking magic marker pointed bullet headed Tyson Fury's doing with Ngannou. Look, this, I mean, you know how long ago he could have been fight? And wasn't it Frank Warren? There's no need for my fighter to not fight because Anthony Joshua doesn't want to make up his mind. There's no need for my fighter to not fight because Usyk doesn't want to make up his mind. And this dude was trying to fight Manuel Char. And he ends up fighting Derek Chisora and had to get taken to court for trying to stiff Dillian White. And pretty much, what has he done? Nothing. And you notice I don't say since then because I didn't care to see him fight no goddamn Derek Chisora. The Dillian White fight, Dillian, I wasn't against that. Dillian just went and showed that he didn't belong in the ring, that he's one-dimensional, and he did all that talking. He didn't try to do anything different. He just went in there and then got knocked out with one punch, as he always does when he gets knocked out. One punch. And by what punch? The fucking uppercut. So it was he just disappointed. Basically, he tried to do nothing different. You know? So even when people say, oh, but man, look how big Fury is to him. Yeah, Fury's bigger than everybody. And so what? So what? Look how big he was to Frank Cunningham, to Steve Cunningham. Huh? Otto Wallin put up a better fight than Dillian White did. For real. So, you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to get this video out. And like I said, I'm not childish. So no, I'm not going to crucify Robert Helenius. I want to hear what he has to say. And I make my judgment off what you say and do. Not because of what people around or outside the situation is saying. But I will say, he started making excuses. And I already said that in the video. Oh, I wish I had 12 weeks. I didn't have the 12 weeks. So now you don't think people are going to say, maybe that's why he juiced. That's why he cheated, because he felt he didn't have the proper time, but he claimed he was ready. And everybody heard him say he was ready. There'll be no excuses. You know, he's already fit and in shape. He just had to fight the weekend before that. He took no punishment and he's ready. Now, yeah, people can draw conclusions off your own words. But at the same time, he was making excuses. Then he was talking about how he hurt AJ. He embarrassed AJ and just things he was saying. It's like, bro, you lost. And it's like you're just trying to make yourself feel good about the fact that you lost. And you're trying to convince the fans to see it the same way. You lost. Simple. Okay. So we'll see how that turns out. But today, my focus is, in terms of boxing, the fights that we have coming up. Usyk versus Dubois, may the best man win. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.